Welcome back to freehighschooleducation.com. Today we are going to do chapter 4.7, percent problems on page 150. Percentages is a fraction whose denominator is always 100. Before we're using the percent number, we have to change it back to its original fraction form. For example, 25% means 25 over 100. Per means divided, cent means 100 from the French word cent. And here 30% means 30 over 100. These numbers come from comparing two numbers. So let's say I'm comparing 12 to 48. And that's in fraction form will be the same as 1 over 4. These are equivalent fractions. I can also put it in an equivalent fraction whose denominator is 100. And that will be the same as 25 over 100. And instead of saying all the time so and so out of 100 and this number out of 100, we say 25%. The original formula or equation for this percentages is the following. We have two numbers compared to each other, and now we have an equivalent ratio whose denominator is 100, but the numerator is not known. Here we have three variables. This is going to stay 100 all the time. And in all these exercises, you are going to be given 2 and get the third. You'll be given A and B, get C, or B and C, get A, and so on. So if you are not very good in percentage problems, you can always come back to this equation and solve all your problems on this equation. And that's what we are going to do now. But later on, as we go on, we are not going to use this all the time. We will go into the shortcuts. So let's do example number 1 on page 150. Finding a percent of a number. Here we have the percentages, so we have C out of 100, and we have a certain number, B, and we want to get the number whose, if we compare it to B, it will be the same as this percentages. So let's get an example. What number is 65% of 132? So here we have 65 over 100. And what number is 65% is the same as 65 over 100 when compared to 132. And my missing number here is A. In this case, I multiply everything by 132. And the number that we are going to get is 85.8. So 85.8 compared to 132 is the same as 65 out of 100. That's what we are saying. In the future, whenever we want to get the percentages of a number, what percent so and so of a certain number, we simply multiply the number times the percent, and we get the number. We are not going to go through this. We will simply get 132 times 65 over 100, and that's how we are going to do the rest of the exercises. Now, example number 2, finding what percent one number is of another. So here you are comparing two numbers. 3 is what percent of 8? So I have 3 out of 8 is what percent? So this is the missing number. And here we have this fraction, the original fraction. We multiply both sides by 100 and we get our percentages. And in this case, this is going to be equal to 37.5. So when we replace this, 3 over 8 is the same as 37.5 over 100. In the future, whenever we are going to get the percentages of one number from another number, we simply divide them, multiply by 100. And that's how we are going to do it. We are not going to follow this. It's very easy to remember that we divide the two numbers and multiply by 100. And we get our percentage right away. Now this third situation, in this third situation you have to use this because you cannot get it right away. Finding the number when a percent of it is known. For example, 72 is 150% of what number? So 72 is 150% of what number? Here, in order to solve this, we have to do some calculations. The fastest way is to flip these two ratios, and then to get B, we multiply both sides by 72. And now we get the number. And this case is, the number is 48. So 72 compared to 48 is the same as 150 compared to 100, which means 72 is 1.5 times as much as 48, and this is 1.5 times as much as 100. And with this, we come to the end of this session, and we will do many exercises on this chapter in order to clarify all these problems and how we do them. So see you again.